Hi, how's it going? Thank you so much for joining me during this very interesting time that we're having during all of our social isolation time. Today we will be exploring the downtown area of New Orleans during the pandemic. We will be going through the warehouse district, the central business district, and into the French Quarter and the Marigny to see how things have definitely radically changed from normal. So, let's start traveling.
Welcome to NOLA, gent. Let the good times roll. Heading into downtown New Orleans, there's a spray painted sign that says we can all help stay out of the emergency room. Now we're going to be heading through the warehouse district now. We are heading down Camp Street right here. The World War II Museum's to our right. So I've heard a lot of talk and seen a few other videos where people are saying that New Orleans is totally deserted, there's nobody out. That's not quite accurate. There are people out with many places having closed certainly, but there are still several places that are still open. There's some restaurants still doing to-go food. There's people that live in neighborhoods still. So there are a few people out and about, as you're going to see in this video. It's definitely nowhere nearly as lively and crowded as usual, most certainly. But there are people driving around, riding bicycles, walking, and just hanging out. We have Lafayette Square on the left there. We're going to take a left on Poydras Street. We're here in the CBD area now. Now we're turning down Carondelet, which will become Bourbon Street once we cross Canal Street, which is the dividing line between the American sector and the Creole sector. So in normal times, this area has a lot of hotels, and you would see a lot more tourists and crowds walking on the streets. And this certainly is far more deserted than typical. So this is a very lonely scene so far, but not totally deserted, as you see the few people walking about. So all the street names change the minute that you cross over the neutral ground, which is the median in most other places, but in New Orleans we call the median a neutral ground for those that don't know. And here we are on the neutral ground and crossing over into the Creole side. Now Bourbon Street. So you will notice a lot of places have boarded up and it looks like a hurricane evacuation. Places that were recently open and still serving to-go food have shuttered up and closed. So we do have fewer and fewer restaurants that continue to remain open, but there are still some. For example, we have Galatoire's coming up there on the left. They are still serving. It is one of the top Creole restaurants in New Orleans. There are far, far fewer open than just a few days ago when I came through here. Coming up, we have Bourbon Cowboy on the left and Old Absinthe House on the right. And then Arnaud's is to the left. You will notice though that it definitely is very, very deserted. There were more people here during Hurricane Katrina actually than this. This is extremely deserted. This is the fewest amount of people that I have ever seen on Bourbon Street ever. So certainly it is a very unique sight in the history of New Orleans for such a deserted, calm space in New Orleans. There is Pat O'Brien's on the right. So there are quite a few bicyclists out today. That seems to probably be the most popular way of getting around these days during the pandemic. There's a few folks walking around up there. And there's also a lot of people taking pictures, making films as well, documenting this unique time, space, and moment in the history of the world. Clover Grill on the right there never closes, but they are closed for this situation. There's a dog walker and Lafitte's blacksmith shop on the left, along with a lady filming it or photographing it. And we have several social distancing signs out, examples of what's out all over the city these days. This end of Bourbon Street gets much more residential. You'll see more folks that will be actually just in their neighborhood living life. Some out getting a little exercise, walking around, running errands, doing what they need to do, just like everybody else. Another dog walker ahead. And just some folks enjoying the nice weather, sitting outside in front of their house. And another fellow out in front of his house enjoying the nice weather today. Now we will turn down on Esplanade Avenue. It is really just a beautiful day. And this is a beautiful street, an area of town right here. There's the old US Mint on the right. As we're turning down onto Frenchmen Street, which is another very active, crowded space, and usually it's where a lot of the live music is. This is very, very deserted. Typically there would be lots of live music playing. So many places boarded up. The restaurants, bars, music clubs here are usually hopping with activity at this time. But as you can see, it is very, very dead right here. Just a few folks there on the left doing some filming themselves. Some more bicyclers. That dog is totally closed up there on the right. So strange seeing everything so deserted and closed around here because it's usually so very active. Now we will turn down Elysian Fields. And here we are going past the Mint again. And right up ahead you can see the French market. It's just completely deserted. Nobody is there, nothing is for sale there, which is very unusual. So many restaurants and bars right here in this area, and everything looks closed around here. And now we're going down Decatur Street. There's two Jacks there on the right. Cafe du Monde will be coming up on the left up here, and Jackson Square on the right. Just days ago when I visited, Cafe du Monde was still open. They did have their chairs stacked up on the patio. They were still serving. This most recent visit, though, when I recorded this, the chairs were gone and it didn't seem like they were open. Two Jacks is all boarded up and closed, but there are still some places open and serving, along with many more that are boarded up and closed. Jackson Square and St. Louis Cathedral are looking quite impressive today. There still are people walking about here and there, along with bicyclists, people driving around. So there is still life in the area, just not nearly anywhere as to where it normally is. Antioine restaurant, all closed up with at least some Mardi Gras festival style boards on it at least. Just more and more places seem to be closing. The number of restaurants keeps declining as not all are able to keep enough carry-out business to sustain themselves, I imagine. So this is going to be a very rough patch for so very many of our businesses to get through, and along with all of the people that are employed by these businesses. Not to forget the number of lives that have also been lost due to this. During normal times, there is typically a huge amount of traffic in this area. So very few cars is just such an unusual, weird sensation to experience here. I mean, even during Hurricane Katrina and the aftermath, there was more traffic going on than this. This is just such an unusual situation. And we're turning back down Canal Street. Usually there's just crowds of people all on the streets here. Now we're gonna head down Chapatula Street through the CBD. And now we're heading into the warehouse district where there's a lot of restaurants and bars. There's Barcadia coming up on the right. Lucy's Retired Surfer Bar right there on the right. Tommy's Cuisine on the left. Emeril's Flagship Restaurant on the left. La Boca Steakhouse on the left with the cow horns. There's Koshan to the left with the yellow sign. Now we're turning it on Annunciation Street, and Annunciation Restaurant is right there on the left. And a new restaurant, The Mill, has opened up there to the right. What a time to open. Good luck to them. They are still open and serving to go. Here we are approaching Calliope Street, and this will be the exit out of the downtown area, and we'll be heading back uptown and the Lower Garden District and the Garden District. So if you want to continue and see that, look for the next video. Make sure to click the little bell to keep getting alerts about new content. And I really appreciate it if you would like this video and subscribe to the channel and comment below. If you would like to follow me on Yelp, I have thousands of pictures and reviews on there. You can also follow me on Instagram for more photos. And please like this video and subscribe to the NOLA channel. We would also love it if you would help us out on Patreon and help the channel continue to have more content produced. Thank you very much.